Hey, thanks for watching 4Color Commentary. I'm Mark Allen, and I'm back with part 3 of the retrospective, my retrospective of the Atlas Seaboard Comics publisher from the Bronze Age. And today we're looking at the book, The Destructor. Okay, just to jump right into it. This book was produced, and I'll do this with each issue. First issue has a great lineup. First issue creative lineup, written by Archie Goodwin, drawn by Steve Ditko, inked by Wally Wood, edited by Larry Lieber. And so there's a nice opening page with a dramatic Ditko image. And the Destructor is Jay Hunter, who is a teenage boy who fancies himself something of an up-and-coming gangster, or at least future gangster. And through, I won't get real heavy into details, but through his own criminal, involvement, his father ends up getting killed, but bequeaths upon Jay, to save his life, a formula he'd been working on in order to give men superpowers. I won't reveal everything about that, but and it does give Jay heightened speed, strength, senses, all of that kind of thing. And so what right away what you have here is an angsty type story with someone who does wrong and it costs a loved one, and therefore you have something very similar to Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And so in this first issue you do have some Spider-Man flavor. But there's something else here. This is what Peter Parker would have been, or what he has been in some of his alternate what-if characterizations from time to time. He's more concerned with being an instrument of vengeance, okay? Which kind of makes him a cross between Spider-Man and Batman. And so anyway, you have basically the origin story in the first issue, and there's he and his father. His father lie dying, but gives him the formula to help him to survive and to live, and it ends up giving him great powers, and he becomes the Destructor. And there he is on his first outing there as he goes up against the mob. And here's the thing about this book. I found it very entertaining, and as with all of the Atlas comics that I've reviewed or looked at, there's some better imagery of the costume and such. Very emotive of Spider-Man with the red and blue, okay, and the mask that almost covers the entire head and face. But here's the thing: they're always derivative. So far, they've always been derivative of something. Generally something that Marvel is doing, but there's always something interesting as well. I like the Destructor. Jay Hunter very much has the makeup of a Steve Ditko character, very much concerned with justice, vengeance, the evil getting theirs. Now, this second issue has a character in there called Death Grip. All right. Now, as we go in to there on the cover, his hand is silver. As we go in, we find he's even more derivative. Now, a 2001 comic book artist article by Nicholas Caputo, I wanted to be sure to get his name right, talked about similarities between Death Grip and Peter Lorre's character Dr. Gogol from the 1935 movie Mad Love, which I wasn't really familiar with, and sounds like something worthy of checking out. And I'll be putting a picture up here, and you can kind of compare. But he called Death Grip modeled after Dr. Gogol, which I could see it right down to the sunglasses, the bald head, the collar, and but also I also see Baron Zucker in his green Hydra costume with the Satan's claw, and I think you can probably see where I'm going with that as well, okay? And so I think there was more than one influence in there, all right? So again, that's what I mean when I say derivative. Still though, entertaining, kind of an interesting character and entertaining, not real deep, but good for a read anyway. Now, the third issue had a new character called the Huntress. The Huntress was kind of a cross between Thundra and Craven, and when you look and see, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, even the two-piece orange costume with the yellow boots and the red hair. You know, I mean, that you just can't get, or a red costume, whatever that may be, but still, you can't gloss over the Thundra similarities and a little Craven in there to boot. And so, again, very derivative there. I mean, you have to really work to tell your mind you're not looking at Thundra, you know, after having teamed with Craven to go after this no-name hero in the Marvel Universe. But no, it's Jay Hunter, it's the Destructor, and there is some great action, some great Ditko action in there, and, you know, fun stuff, fun read. I should have noted, and I didn't, that the creative team in issues 2 and 3. Again, in issue 1, you had Archie Goodwin writing, Steve Ditko and Wally Wood doing the art, Larry Lieber editing. In issue 2, you have Archie Goodwin writer, Steve Ditko penciling, Wally Wood still do. Okay, so you have the same team there, right down to Larry Lieber doing the editing. Issue 3, it begins to change a bit, I believe. Yeah, Archie Goodwin script, Steve Ditko artist, inking his own work, which is always good. Ditko always does well inking his own work, but no Wally Wood. It's kind of a disappointment, but, and then Alan Kupperberg is doing the letters. And then the fourth issue, Jerry Conway comes on as a writer. It's been theorized that maybe he came on because of his, at that time, his Spider-Man experience, okay? But Steve Ditko still doing the art, Al Milgrom doing the inks, and it really looked good. They made the costume a little darker, made a few changes. There's the opening splash page in issue number 4. And so, you know, that was, I liked that. I liked the, I liked the visuals there. And introduced some new characters. So they were actively building a Destructor universe, okay? And you know, piling on the characters, trying to make things interesting. And, but the last issue, or the fourth issue, which was the last issue, kind of, of course, leaves you hanging. The whole company left you hanging, but, you know, Destructor gained some new powers, which was kind of intriguing. And makes you wonder where that would have gone had they gone past in issue number 4. But they didn't. There was no issue number 4. That is a shame. But again, I'll say it again. I'll probably say it at the end of most, if not all of these videos. I do recommend these books primarily for the reasons that they are a very interesting, all of the Atlas books, very interesting chapter in comic book history. They're relatively cheaply obtained, and they're not going to break the bank. So anyway, I recommend the Destructor on that one. On that count, also for the creative dynamite behind it. Some people in comics are so creative that they can take even a derivative idea and make it a fun read, and that's what happened here, I think. And some people out there, no doubt, will think, well, Mark, you're being too kind, perhaps. But I really do enjoy this medium, and so this was fun. It's a different time, even though it's kind of heavy, not quite as heavy as comics today. It doesn't really do any preaching to you, and I like that. I like comics that don't preach. And you know, if a good message just kind of naturally comes out of the story, all the better. But I don't want a comic that is created to preach to the reader. And so, unless it's an honest-to-goodness gospel comic, okay? So, there you go. That's just my 2 cents. Take it and do with it what you will. All right? Anyway, that's the Destructor. That's my look at that book. And thanks for watching. Tune in again next time. We'll have another Atlas Seaboard book. And I will remind you that if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. You know, comment on the video. Most importantly to me, more than just subscribing or sharing, which I want you to do those too. But comment on the video. Tell me what you think, and talk about your experiences with Atlas Comics. Start a conversation. And anyway, other than that, thanks for watching 4 Color Commentary, and I'll see you next time.